Welcome to Let's Chat with Derick. I am your host, Derick Phage, and pleased to introduce not just a great guest, but a great friend joining me on the show today. She is a personal trainer and the manager at Freeform Fitness, the Wellington location, former daytime co-host, mom show co-host. You probably still see her on community television every now and then. Catherine Marion joins me today. How are you, Catherine?
I'm fabulous. I'm especially excited to be talking to you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's so great that we have technology now, right? That we can connect in this manner. I was saying to another guest, going back 20 years ago, 25 years ago, if this pandemic had hit, right, we wouldn't be able to have this kind of communication, you know?
Yeah.
So feel very fortunate to be living in a day and age where I can still do my own little show that I can put on my YouTube channel. So let's start off first of all. How are you and your family? You've got a big family. How have you guys been dealing with the pandemic so far?
Um, so I think we're a little bit fortunate in the sense that we're not alone.
Yeah.
So there's actually seven of us for almost 4 weeks. So my daughter's boyfriend, they're 25. His parents were just coming. They had a home in Fort Lauderdale. Now you have to imagine this is March, and now
Right.
things are happening, and the governments are saying you got to come home, and so now we know what the deal is. So they were on their way home from their winter vacation home. They were coming early as opposed to coming in April, and they were so nervous about possibly bringing this home. They said to their son, "We don't want you home. Like, you got to find a place to live." So I said, "Listen, come stay here." Like, this is crazy.
Right.
So for almost 4 weeks, there were seven of us in here as opposed to the normal six, which is already, a good bunch.
Yeah.
But because of this extra person, I'm not kidding. Every night of the week, there were board games being played on our kitchen table. Now you have to
Nice.
understand, we're already really big fans of board games, like you name it. I
Yeah.
think we have enough to open our own store. But like every single night, there was something going down, and a bottle of wine would be opening, and then I'd be going up at 9. It's my bedtime, and they're like, "All right, what are we doing tonight?" So there was
Oh,
a
that's
lot.
great to hear.
It was a lot of fun going on. My son was actually away when all of this was starting. He was on an island somewhere, and the island said, "Okay, everyone, you got 4 days, you got to get out." So he had to scramble to fly home with his friends. And then he quarantined in his room. And I mean, like, quarantine. He was going bedroom, bathroom, bedroom, bathroom. So
Right.
the boys have their own room. So the twins now were using my bathroom. Mama didn't love that.
I guess not.
But Alex was really diligent. And, we hear a lot of stuff on the internet about, the young people don't get it. That's not true. A lot of them, most of them really get it. So he watched like the whole, what's that comedy show that everybody, The Office. He went through the
Okay.
whole thing, plus all the Avengers movies, while he was really focused on being quarantined. I was bringing up his meals and like dropping them off at the door, right? So when he got out of court, because he could hear the others playing
Yeah,
the
of
game.
course.
He's
They're
like,
all playing board games and having a blast, and he's stuck in his room.
exactly. So let me tell you, that Sunday when he came out, we had a big brunch. Like, it was the Sunday before Easter. Big brunch, and we're celebrating he's out of quarantine, and it's like we're barely done eating. It's like, let's play a game.
It's so great to hear, because we've done the same thing, puzzles and board games. You mentioned how many board games you have. My brother Rod, who uh,
Yes.
he has like almost a room dedicated to board games. Like, every inch of shelving is filled with board. Like, he buys them online from Germany and Asia, like all over Europe. It's pretty amazing, eh? And what's available now too is incredible. I think we forget because we're so inclined to the video game age and that kind of thing. But there are just some brilliant board games out there
And
now.
sometimes the fun is to open up your cabinets. We have a big cabinet upstairs and a big cabinet downstairs, like the games. And then you realize, wow, we used to play this when we were 12. And then they take it out, and then they start and they go, "Oh yeah, we're not 12 anymore. Okay, next."
Next game. Exactly. Sorry's not as exciting when you're 25 years old, right?
Exactly. So
I
back to
would.
the question, we're doing good in the sense that we're all together, we're all really healthy. So we're grateful, knock on wood. And like you said, technology is allowing us to stay in touch with our parents.
Yeah.
20 years ago, I think my parents are alone in their home, and for them it's not easy. I mean, you remember my dad. He's a
Yeah.
bus driver. He used to drive the Wakefield train. Like, he's a people person, and
Mm-hmm.
he can't. This is hard for him, but we can do Zoom all the time, and so technology, thank goodness, it allows us to stay connected. Yeah.
Let's talk about business because, as I mentioned, you're a manager at Freeform Fitness, the Wellington location, a personal trainer. You've had to close your doors, so obviously your business and Freeform's business has been greatly impacted as well.
Yeah, it is, and it was not a hard decision.
Yeah,
Our tagline on our website is "Personal trainers who care," and oftentimes people come up with a tagline, but it was not, we were almost the first to close on our street. We immediately contacted all of our clients. All of us are staying, because technically right now I'm no longer management because I've been temporarily laid off, and I'm perfectly
right.
fine with that. But I can't not contact my people. Like, I care
Of
about that,
course.
their health and their well-being. So we've been offering some different things. We have a location in Boston. So Freeform
Oh,
opened up the
really?
very first location in the States, and that happened just before. So I would say February-ish,
Okay.
something like either late last year, early this year. You'll have to forgive me. I've got the dates all.
Listen, you don't have to apologize.
Yeah.
Every day is bleeding into the next for everyone, you know? I have no idea what day it is on any given day.
Yeah, you and I both. So there's a trainer at our Boston location who's been doing some stuff online. Like, it kind of kicked in, and so you can join in on that particular for free. You join in, you
Okay.
can work out, and you follow her. It's sort of like a hit thing. And then a couple of ours have also decided, to kind of do that sort of same idea, and then we post it on our social media pages, so people can just sort of join in if they want to. But then we realized, okay, wait a minute, some people still want to train, and we can do that through Zoom, right?
Right.
We weren't sure at first, like, because what we do is so one-on-one. The response has been really good.
Oh,
So,
terrific.
every day I've got clients. My busiest day is 5 clients.
Okay.
Yeah, which is
That's not
pretty,
bad.
that's not bad,
And I
right?
guess each client has different tools available to
And it's
themselves, right? Because not every client's going to have weights or a room they're going to do. So I imagine some are just doing sort of body weight training, and others whatever they have on hand.
I told them, you tell me what you have, and I'll figure it out for you. And I have a client. She's just the best. I think she might be close to 70. She says, I've
Okay.
got a stool, I've got a wrench. I weighed it. It weighs 4 pounds. I got a jug of water. It weighs 8 pounds. I got a couple of elastic bands. And I'm like, I got you. I
Perfect.
got you. Right. And
Old
so,
school. I just see. I picture Sylvester Stallone, training for a boxing match. Remember, he was in Russia and stomping through snow. I mean, this is the kind of thing you have to do eventually, right? Chopping wood out in the backyard.
exactly. The idea is to keep moving, and it's twofold, right? One, you don't necessarily want to completely fall off the wagon, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you may not be able to progress if you were deadlifting or squatting. You may not be able to progress. That's what we try to do when we train. Some of us maintain, but sometimes we want to see if we can get a little bit stronger every time. That may not happen, but it allows you at least to sort of stabilize. But for other
Hmm.
people, it's really about mental health as well. If
Yeah.
you can't go anywhere and you can't do the things that make you feel good, like pick up a coffee at the local, bridgehead down the street, or, saunter through a mall, and, those kinds of things, we forget that was part of our mental health. But being able to move, adrenaline, sweating, connecting with someone on the screen, that's the other part of what, I'm able to do. And I appreciate that for sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it makes a huge difference. I mean, I've even been in the situation where I'm reluctant to do anything. I'm not motivated, and Monica will say to me, "Hey, you know what? Let's take the dogs for a walk." Like, I don't want, I don't
Yeah.
know. And then you do, and then you feel great, right? And you're grateful and feel fortunate. And we're in a great neighborhood as well. Like we're right by the river, so we have plenty of space, to practice social distancing when we go for a walk. So I certainly feel grateful for that.
Yeah, no, I think it's certainly key, is that motivation. And if someone's waiting for you, and that's sort of what we do at our gym. The reason the gym works really well is, a lot of times when I've done it, I did it in my youth. I would put down $400 because I am going to train 4 days a week. Here's my yearly, like $400. This was, 1990.
Yeah.
It's a lot more now, but and then nothing, right? Because I just couldn't motivate myself to go. But with our gym is one-on-one all the time. So someone's waiting for you, right? So that tends to
Yeah.
be, for some people, it's just what they need. So this is the same thing. They know I'm waiting for them. And then we can kind of get moving, do some. It's amazing what you can do with just body weight, let me tell you.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely. I want to go back and switch gears here and go back to 2004. You maybe remember that year, when two people that have never done television before started hosting this community television show on Rogers TV called Daytime Ottawa. And that's how you and I met, and
Oh,
neither of us, again, with any experience. We just
nice.
happened to audition. And I know for I think it was the first 3 months, I was hosting with the current, female host that was there, Kirsten Johnston was her name.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think it was the second day on the job, she turned to me and she said, "Oh, by the way, I'm leaving the show because I'm going to start hosting my own show." She was doing a DIY kind of style show.
Crafty or something, right?
Yeah, and I think she was doing a lot of painting and that sort of thing. And anyway, she was great to learn from, but I was like, "Oh my God, like you're leaving? Like, I just got here. What's going on?" And then what happened was you and I competed against each other, if you
Yes,
recall.
we did. Yes, we did. I remember. And I
Right?
remember going home thinking, they're probably not going to pick me because rarely do shows have two female hosts at the time.
Right.
So I kind of thought, and then when they said, yeah, sorry, and then it was you, I thought, yeah, I wasn't overly surprised. And so, and then I think, like, I don't know, they called me a week later, said, can you just hang on a minute? Because we might have something. I thought, you might? What does that mean?
That's right. And yeah, they did. They called you quite soon after because I guess, she had already began her planning. And I think Kristen had even started doing some recording already. And so they said, at the end of this season, because remember, we used to take a break during the
Yep.
summer. And then
Mm-hmm.
at the end of, that season, would you be interested starting back up in September as the new co-host? And man, they ran ads in the paper and
I
it was
still have
amazing.
them.
I do too.
I should have pulled them out. They're very funny. It's adorable.
Yeah, and again, you and I with no experience, but what a great way to learn, right? Because we learned like on the spot. It wasn't like here's a tour of the station, and it was here's a microphone to a television show.
I know, and half the time I'd be looking this way, and then I could hear the guy, camera that way, this way. Oh, I never knew. Like, there was a little red light at the top. Nobody teaches you that when you've never been to TV school or
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
quite the learning curve. Is good.
And that was a great year, right? We did a full season together, and of course, that just grew an incredible friendship. I mean, we became such fast friends so quickly, and oh, boy, we were out in the community together all the time.
And
Yeah.
I think both of us, we thrived on that, and it's on the connection. I think we're both people person in that way. It's like giving back and connecting and hearing feedback and whether it's fundraising and it's going to a great place or something about that fills your heart, and that that was really great.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And then the producers of a show called The Mom Show happened to be watching Daytime, and they reached out to tell me how that happened.
I thought it was spam, so I got an email. I got an email, and it said something, and at the time it was originally supposed to be called The Mommy Trap.
Okay.
Not sure what that, anyway.
Sounds like a movie, The Mommy Trap.
I know,
right?
exactly. A little bit strange. So they said, it said, would you like to audition for this, whatever. And I kind of read it, and then I didn't, it didn't even register because I thought this is ludicrous. It doesn't even make sense. It must be for somebody else. Then I kind of read it again, and I thought, so I responded, are you sure you got the right Catherine Marion? No. And then she responds, she goes, yes, this is what we do, sort of headhunting, whatever. And we'd like you to come to Toronto. And I'm like, I can't fly to Toronto. I have no budget. I work, it's not like daytime. I mean, it was beautiful work, but I mean, it's community television, right?
Yeah.
So, it's okay. We'll fly you down and put you up. And I thought, oh my God. And so I went, and at the time, there was a girl from Calgary, a girl from Vancouver, me, Lori, who was from New York, but originally from Ottawa.
Yeah.
And I think it was just the four of us. And then they sort of just kind of like Daytime. They said, okay, here you go, sit here. and they sort of had us kind of all pairing together.
Right.
And they would throw a subject at us, and we were just meant to ad lib. And I think the fact that I had 4 kids, every time they throw something, I would say, well, let me tell you about that. Like, I got a kid who pooped all over the, right? You name it, I had a story for it, like, everything. So,
Because that was really the premise of the show, right? Is really sharing your experience and then getting experts in different fields, that have to do with raising children and having a family. That was the premise that they were literally putting you through.
yeah. So they wanted to have moms, and so that they could share their experience about motherhood, but then talk to other moms and kind of share with them. And in the end, of course, it grew. We had 5 seasons, and we had all sorts of moms, right? Like single moms, or moms who've lost spouses, or moms who've lost children. Like, there are things that I don't know about, but can feel almost. I don't want to say I'm not in their shoes. I've never lost a child, but when they're talking to you, having a host who can almost imagine, like, I think that was the value they were looking for. And of course, Laurie and I are so opposite, where she has 2 girls, and I had the 4, and I was a stay-at-home mom for 9 years, and she had a sort of a different lifestyle. That was also fun, right?
Yeah.
It was 2 different views, and man, it just out of the blue, it worked. It clicked. They picked Laurie and I, and we ended up doing live shows in Ottawa and in Calgary, and we were, sponsorships were coming around, and it was, I don't even know what happened there.
I can imagine. And the thing that was probably most difficult for you, we've talked about this before, is, obviously you're concerned about, well, listen, I'm not moving to Toronto. My roots are in Ottawa. My kids are going to school there. My husband has a job there, but that you didn't have to move. So they sort of, I guess, catered a little bit around your schedule. So did you pre-record? Was that the idea?
So both of us would fly in on Sunday night, and then we would shoot 8 episodes in 3 days.
Wow.
So 2 on Monday, 2 on Tuesday, 3 on Wednesday. No, there's something missing in there. There's 8 in there, but anyways.
Probably like a 2-3-3 or something like that.
So we had 8 episodes in 3 days, and then we would fly home Wednesday after we were done the taping. And I would get home Wednesday just before the kids would get off the school bus, about an hour before, right? And that was a really big deal for me, because now it was like I was gone 3 days a week, and they didn't know. It's funny because I know we can't really see it, but there's a photo back there, and that it used to be on the Mom Show wall. They had asked Laurie and I, have your kids draw a photo, and we'll put it in the room, and it'll just be special, right?
Oh, cool.
And it's you can't see, but it's a house, and there's a plane on top with me, my luggage, and then there's the 4 kids popping out the windows.
Oh, that's awesome.
So one of my kids, I wonder if I can take it off.
Yeah, grab it. I love the chaos behind you, by the way. It just shows that you're a busy family with all the pictures and everything.
Let me see if I can take the grill. So can you sort of see that?
Yeah, that's good. That's perfect.
So that's one of my kids. I think it was John, but he drew mommy on that plate. That represented what his life was like. So
yeah.
I was getting on a plane, and the kids were, and of course, in this window, you can see there's 2 of them because the twins shared a room.
That's great.
And so for them, that's sort of what their life was like for 5 years. But again, we would shoot 9 weeks, and then I'd be off the rest. Off. We shot commercials, and we had special appearances, and that was fine because they would fly us out. But that was a different time. Right now, you see a whole lot of reality television on TV because there's a much smaller budget for TV. The change, it was huge. And that's when our last year, the 5th year, I think, they were closing down studios in Toronto, in Vancouver, in Montreal. And it's just television shows and the staff. I mean, people don't realize, they just see, the person in the microphone, but we're talking sound and lights, and there's, every camera.
Multiple producers too, right?
We had a producer for each of our segments.
Yeah.
All of the different cameras, which people don't see, all have to be manned. And then there's full, so it's a lot of staff to create quality television. And there was just not money for that. And so, even in the States, you can see everything's kind of gone to reality TV because you don't need a whole lot of
Well,
staff.
you don't need writers, right? You don't need necessarily multiple producers, for each segment. So, yeah, no, you're right. I mean, the landscape for television has changed dramatically. There's no doubt about that. And then you had to do a career switch,
Yeah.
right? And I think, if I remember correctly, it was on Daytime when you sort of started falling in love with health and wellness and getting fit, right?
Because of one of our guests. You and I were
Yeah,
talking to someone. Remember, we were giving away Patricia Hill was a trainer on the market. She became a good friend of mine. She had a gym and she was giving away like 6 months or a year's worth of something.
right. Yeah.
And so we gave it to this lady. And then she came to visit us like 3 months later just to give us an update in her 6 months or 12 months. I can't remember what prize we gave
No,
her.
I remember. Yeah.
And then she sat across from us. And I think that's the first interview where I said nothing. I just sat there with my mouth hanging, looking at her, emanating. There was something emanating from her, like light and joy and glowing and fitness. And she had beautiful shoulders. And I thought, wait a minute. So I hired Trish, the girl who gave that we sent, whatever. And that,
Right.
from there I ran my first marathon. Trish trained me for that. And then I had a bit of a knee injury. So then I got into weightlifting, and then I competed 4 times in some bodybuilding stuff and trained some of my friends on the side. And I've always enjoyed fitness. And then I thought, well, why don't now I'm at a point in my life where I kind of can do what I want. I always have done
Right.
what I want, but
Yeah.
I've been lucky that way. So I thought, I'm just going to do this. So I took some classes, because I didn't want to wing it. I took
Right.
some classes, took all of the knowledge that I had from my coaching, from my coaches, from, just learning, and decided to go for it. And I am in love with what I do. I like it because Freeform allows me to have a flexible schedule. So if something like this were to come up, and I block it in my thing and say, listen, I'm going to have an interview, I'm going to fill in at Rogers, or there's something because they're such a community company to begin with.
Right.
It allows me to keep my feet wet in the other stuff that I love. But I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to make another switch and try something else. And so here I am.
Here you are, a successful personal trainer, and you've gone back and done some things on Rogers TV, right? I know you've filled in with Daytime, Entre Nous. You've done it,
Yeah.
and
I've done
some specials, right?
Specials, yeah. So the Christmas lights across Canada. So because I'm bilingual, that's like a little bit of a bonus for me. So when we do the Christmas lights across Canada, we can do one whole segment in English and then take a break and then do one whole segment in French, and that's fine. I prefer to do French first because then I get all the blah, blah, I get the two. Like, can you just give me 5 minutes here to kind of get my mouth around?
Right.
So I've been able to do, some of those things. The mayor had, his mayor's breakfast. I was invited to sort of host that. And so I appreciate all of those things that I can do in our city. Yeah.
Well, I can imagine people watching are probably motivated just by seeing your energy and how much you love what you're doing now. So if somebody's interested in doing this from home and they want to do sort of a Zoom workout with you, what's the best way to contact you?
Well, you can probably find me on Twitter or on Instagram or on Facebook. I mean, I've kept those pages kind of private just on account of my family. But I mean, if you send me a message, I'll see it. I don't ignore people. Twitter, I think, is wide open.
Okay.
You can also check out, so if you want, you can do it that way, but you can also check out the Freeform Fitness Facebook pages or Instagram. They're everywhere as well. And they're blasting, like, Wednesday morning class with, Serge is going to have one, or Franny is going to have one, or, whatever. And then there's different times. I think Friday's at 10 a.m. and sometimes it's 8 a.m. So you can jump in whenever you want. And it doesn't matter what your fitness level is at, because your coach, the coach, whoever, whichever one you're training, watching, will give you some, if you're advanced, try this one. But if you're just starting, do this, and, so you don't have to worry about being lost, right? You can, and it just feels good to move if you haven't done it in a while. It's not too late. My client sent me an email yesterday. So you know what, we're starting week 8 and I can't believe I totally fell off the bandwagon. And I'm saying, you can't be angry with yourself because You can't be prepared for something no one prepares you for.
Exactly. It's not helpful, right? I mean, as you said, it's not helpful for your mental health. And as you know, as everybody knows, the physical and the mental, they're so connected,
Yeah.
right?
So yeah, it's not too late. People can join in and start moving. And right, I mean, it helps that it's nice outside, but we sort of still have to do things alone. Whereas when you do
Right.
these things, you don't feel alone because there's a voice there. So that it could help. Who
Yeah,
knows?
and it certainly helps with motivation. I'm one of those people that I've been working with the same personal trainer for 10 years now, and I'm the type I need somebody. I'm not one to go and do it on my own. I mean, even with my Good Life membership, Monica and we go together, right? I kind of need that person. So if people watching right now, if you need that kind of motivation, get in touch with Catherine, or check out Freeform Fitness on their social media pages. Catherine, thank you so much for joining me, my friend.
Thanks for having me. It's so good to see you.
It's good to see you too. I love you. Love to you and your family. And when this is all past us, let's get together for dinner.
It's a date.
All right. Take care.
See you later.
Bye.